right, so back to the reference and the philosophy. Here, on the same vein, I repeat it from Dishonored 1. It's really important to visit places, and not only for taking pictures, but also for the way you experience the city, the location you visit. You have the smells, you talk to people, and you bring back notes that you can share with your team and with the other team. Here it was a photo session in Long Beach, in south of Los Angeles, and it was just for the lighting and the depth, the way the ocean particles react with the smog of Los Angeles, and at some point it creates this weird, desaturated visual, and it impacted a lot the lighting of Karnaca. Also here it's in different places, Malibu, and more importantly Barcelona. I tried to go to Cuba, but I was not able to do that trip, so I went to Barcelona, because to me Barcelona is like La Havana, but in a better state. So then the work would be to add some decay to this layer. And here it's Barcelona, and you clearly feel the parallel with the level design approach. So maybe here you can talk about what we said.
Yeah. It looks like Dishonored, but there are too many balconies. And too many doors and too many windows, and so. But it's exactly, you can feel Dishonored in this picture. And you have flat roofs also, and again, it illustrates the fact that the artists, they can't do that in Dishonored. It's impossible. I mean, you have too many shutters that are breakable, that should be breakable. You have windows where you can enter the apartments. It feels that they're breakable as well, and you feel like you could traverse the entire streets up high by going from a balcony to balcony without even using a power. So this is representative, but it's not what's in the game, and that's a good reference, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So we studied also old colonies. How is it for, I don't know, British people to move to a southern location and build a new city? Or will they adapt to the sun, to the weather? So that was important to study the colonies. And here's the result of gathering good references. It was the first kind of postcard we did of the Karnaka's Bay. And it's not when you see it, to me it's a mix of Kong Island and a big metropole like Los Angeles. So it doesn't give the intention, the perception of people going there for vacation. So it was really hard to produce this piece, because if it's too sunny and you want to go for holidays, it's a fail. So here you see the sun, but also you have some rain. You see the density of the vegetation, and I think we'll see the city from a top view.
Yeah, that's a great vista. Unfortunately, we could not put it in the game as it is. I mean, in the game, you don't see the city from that far. Mm. And I think what's cool is that we've put this as a painting in one of the levels, so that the player can look at it and approach, and it's during a cutscene. So, and where the guy says, "This is my Karnaca," and this is really cool to have this kind of artworks, because we can put them in the game, and it's like when you go into an aristocrat apartment, you see these super nice paintings, and you can just stop and look at them. I mean, I don't know, but what games can say that, right?
Yes. And I also like it, and I just want to make a note about this. It's painted by hand. There's no Photoshop of like taking photo montage. It's drawn by hand, and that's what I like. And maybe that's what makes the difference with some other project, where you clearly see that it's not like pure art. It's like a montage, and I don't feel it's really good. So in every piece we reproduce, it's done by hand. There's no real 3D montage or photo montage. It's pure illustration, like back in the old days. I will cover the team spirit. So here it was the Movember. Just to it's just to illustrate that at the peak of the production, this is 70 artists working on the project. I think we were like 20 for Dishonored 1. We are 70. It's inside the studio and outside the studio. We have a few artists in, as I said, New York or Romania. So that's a bunch of mustache.
It was Mustache Day, I think. This is the day, yeah.
Yeah, Mustache Day in November. All right. And to me, I think this is the same for Tough. It's really essential to sit in my team. I don't have a desk somewhere else in a closed room. I sit inside the team. So every time I do a feedback or a brief, the other guy of the team listen, and we all raise the bar together the information circulates better.
It's like if one person has a great idea, another person can easily chip in, and you can all collaborate on something.
We have big open space. It's made of 3 giant of open space. Tough is sitting next to his team too. He's more close to the campaign team, so a part of my artists are close to him, and they work together. And we try. I work a lot, and I try to make the information circulate a lot. So we spend a lot of time training 2 different techniques. They go train themselves to clay sculpture, for example. So she's the lead character modeling, and she's doing fine arts just to train herself to 3D, and it's a different approach than some other studio. And one key element in this journey of creating art for games is the quality of the brief and the feedbacks. And here you see the brief we did for the arms of Emily. So just because it's just an arm, so I think this slide is cool. And but it's full of detail. You see the silhouette, you see the weight of the cloth, how the light will react to the folds. You even see a cut of the cuff, and how the buttons impact the silhouette of the jacket. And this is what we produce for each piece, each character. Maybe not every character, but a lot of characters. Because when it's done for one, then you can apply it for the other. And quality of the feedback, the accuracy of the feedback, it's really important to sit with the guy and give good feedbacks. I saw some other projects where feedbacks were like, yeah, it's cool, it's blue, and then maybe we change later. No, you have to be super accurate because you have a lot to produce. Doing a game during 4 years compared to a film, a movie, which maybe it takes 1 year, you have to produce everything. You don't go onto a location, you record, and then it's in the box. Here you have to do every single thing, so that's why feedbacks are really important. And that will drive to a certain quality. So I target a high quality for this game, Dishonored 1, but even more for Dishonored 2. And people of my team suffer a little bit, so that's why you see this. But well, at the end of the day, when they suffer, sometimes how do you say, menace them? Can we say that? Yeah, threaten them. I shake them.
Hope HR's not here. Fine.
I don't shake Tough. But when they see the result at the end of the day, they understand that it was, the only solution, and they really enjoyed the result of their work. So
I mean, surely it creates a very solid foundation for the rest of the game as well. So it would help you and everyone else in the team.
Yep.
Yeah. It's I often say that I would like to have objects from Dishonored at my home. And I'm not saying that just because it's cool. I'm really it's true. Most of the objects are designed, and each object objects, they are conceptualized, designed, painted, in 3D, and at the end of the day, it makes a super original object that you really want to have at home. Like if you look at the typewriter, if you look at even the smallest ashtray is nice. I don't know. I mean, it's something really cool, and it helps the immersion. It helps the unity of the thing. Yeah, you see the tap on this table. Like that's one of the things I make him suffer with. Like each time I have a new object, if there is a tap, I'm saying, okay, is it interactive? And everybody's no, it's not. Well, it should. And then suddenly they have to bring back the object, remove the attached tap, and put an interactive one on it. And then the VFX team has to create water going from the tap. And then everybody's pissed off because they say, what's the point to have a tap, right? Why? Why do you do that? Why do you have toilets that nobody uses? Why do you have all this kind of stuff? And I say, because, for two reasons. Because I think having a word that responds to you each time you try something is cool. It's just like, it's a world, so if I want to go and flush the toilet, it should work. Or if I have to open a window, it should work. Or if everything that you feel like should work. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, which is more, I think, more in the philosophy of Arkane, is that, when you have an interaction on the only object that you have to use during the gameplay, like you have, for example, I don't know, a typewriter that is used to progress the story, and then you go and you click the typewriter and you have a cutscene, but then the next typewriter is not interactive. It's kind of, telling the player what to do. Like, he's not thinking about the environment and planning something. He's just following the interactivity of each object. He goes, there's an interactive windows, oh, that's probably where I have to go. And the other one on the side is not interactive, so, it gives informations to the player. And this information, I think, is reducing the way you feel about the game, which is, you feel handed by, I don't know, when you draw someone...
led by the hand?
Yeah, thank you. You feel led by the hand, and we don't want that. We want the player to have informed choices on what they do. That's why, I think all these things are here to remind the player that no, it's not because this is interactive that it's gonna be of any use for you. Just work, go explore and find things and try things, but not based on the fact that it exists, based on the fact that you thought about it and you're going to do something about it. That's why we have all this crazy interactivity in the game. That's it. I'm finished.
Makes my team suffer. Okay, I'm lost now.
Sorry.
All right.
The orange.
So I was about to say it's a mashup of Kubrick's Clockwork Orange and Singing in the Rain. That's what happened in the studio, where we try to raise the bar, and also try to be cool with the team, because they suffer a lot because of this rule, and these are the only rules. This philosophy is what makes Arkane different, I think, and these are not too different. It's because we say yes to the player. We don't set up a rule for one object and not for the other. So we are agile perfectionists, and we fight together. And that was the point about this chapter with the team. All right. So here it's a video of the development of Emily. Well, it's a short.
Too short, man.
Yeah, too short. So can I talk about my philosophy?
I wanted to see more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. All right. So what I've repeated during Dishonored 1 a lot is that art is not graphics. So I said it during the introduction, where people were talking about graphic cards, technology, softwares, etc. And too many people were judging the visual of a game focusing on polycount only, or shaders or technology, and I've repeated, art is not graphics. That's how I shake up the habits of the industry. And in general, I say no matter how powerful your engine is, just to explain, no matter if you develop on mobile phone or console, all console games, if your design is weak like this, you fail. It's a level design drawing.
Not at all.
No.
No, I told you that I was going to talk about the windmills. So this thing is interesting because you remember the huge ones. It's like hundreds of meters high, I think. Of course, I wasn't worried about these ones because you never could climb on it. They are in the distance. But at some point in the production, we decided that we wanted smaller ones. And then my fear, came true. Like, okay, now this thing, we're going to use it to power the wall of lights. So then, before you could, remove the Whale tank from the wall of light, and it was, shutting it down. But with this thing, now it's impossible. It always turns. There are always wind, and then the player won't have any solution to do this. So again, I said, well, okay, so at least you have to have breakable blades, right? And he goes, no, because these are huge things. The wood is massive. You cannot just fire a bolt in it and they break. And I say, can we have at least the bullets? And he said, yeah, okay. And then it was a bit. And then after that, I came with, okay, so this is the way to do it. But what if you don't have ammunition anymore? And what if you don't have ammunition? You have to find another way to bring it down, right? That's where we came with the idea of the lever for these things, which is the brake. And at the beginning, they put it at the base because that's where you should put it. And then we went, well, no, because if you do it, then the guards, the AI is very smart, and the guards will notice that it's not working, and they will have to go and then switch it back. And then what if the player goes back and switches back again? And you can go on and on and on, and it wasn't good, It make the AI felt weak or something, or it's what we call a machine state. So we decided to put it high up. And that's where we came up with the idea with a big platform. And of course, it was ruining the design to put this huge thing, with railings and things. But we won, and now we have... I'm sorry, we won, and now you can do it. Now you can jump on the platform or far reach or do anything, and then you can, So that's a cool story.
You've broken the presentation. Okay, so now let's try to see what we gain when we work with a philosophy on top of the art. The benefits of a strong visual direction are multiple. All along the production, it motivates my team because they have a clear vision of where we are going. It motivates the other team at Arkane, like the rendering programmers, the level designers. They are fed with all these visuals. It keeps me full of energy because when you do a game that is that big, you have to be in a good state, every day, and because you have to motivate your team also. And it excites our publisher because they see good visuals. It's important. They visualize their maybe PR campaigns later, and so that's cool.
They're all excited.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the players enjoy a great and a meaningful content because well, we've worked that way. Now with badass graphics, thanks to our new engine called the Void engine. So I think I have a slide about this, or maybe not. So now you understand my willing to give a boost to the content. Okay, and from the early stage, and from a project, so this is Corvo in Dishonored 1, to another project. And this is what I call raise the bar. Here you see Emily from Dishonored 1, and this is Emily in Dishonored 2. I repeat it every single day at Arkane, and it's, I don't lie, I really say that, you know, people are like, wow, it's hard, etc. And we were targeting a real Dishonored 2, not a Dishonored 1.5. And to the team, because when we did Dishonored 1, we were like a small outsider facing a huge AAA, and we were like, whoa. So we were like speaking like this: we are good, we are small, but we are good, we are smart, etc. Then it was a success. But now our time to face like new small IP, and we are the second opus. So I told the art team, do you remember Terminator 1? And do you remember Terminator 2? And they said, okay, we see your point. Terminator 2 is one of the greatest movies, you know, studied in every schools. So it's a great second opus of something. There are a bunch of other movies where the second opus is good too, but this one was a good example. So that's what we target: raising the bar, the quality. We never stop. We never say, oh, well, we're good. We have lots of good visual. We'll see. We don't think like that. And it's Emily again. I think we'll talk about Emily after that. So, okay, again, Dishonored 1, visually it was cool. And Dishonored 2, let's raise the bar. It's cool to see the difference like this before, after. People loved the Tallboy designs, and we went with the Clockworks design for Dishonored 2. So you see the level of details, the energy we put in everything, the design, the materials, the anatomy of things. And so this is the slide about the Void engine. Thanks to the Void engine, it's our own engine, and now the benefits are really... how can we say that? We work closely to the rendering programmers or to the AI guys, to the tools. It's not a third-party engine where you have to call for support. You just have to leave your desk and go to the guy and say, I want this shader, I want a skin shader so that the sun is going through the thinner part. And you design everything I mean, as you want, on demand. It's really nice. It's hard because you produce the engine while you do the game, so it's broken a long time. And sometimes you fear that you won't reach the goal, you like for a milestone or for a deadline. But in the end, it really, really makes the difference.
Yeah, we just have to ask, and well, of course, they're not doing everything we want, but they understand that, you know, like for example, I have to really thank the rendering team for the level that is called the Crack in the Slab. They you know, it was very, very difficult to do this level because you have two levels in one. I mean, almost 3 levels in one, where you can see one level through a lens, and while you're inside another one, and you have all these lighting issues, you know, skyboxes issues. They had to solve so many problems, and at the end of the day, I think the result is great. So. And it's not only on that level, by the way. It's on all the maps, all the level, every single level have a difficulty. You know, I'm thinking about like Clockwork, which is for, you know, for the lighting team. It's also a problem. And when you think about that, it's like when I think about Cracking the Slab, for example, it's the level where you go back in time. By the way, it's only one level. Like they had to do all this work for one level. No, you don't realize that. But it's absolutely amazing because in a team we try to do things that are, useful for the entire game. Like, we don't want to waste time and money, right? It's logical. We don't want to. But here, they did a tremendous amount of work for one level only. And I think this is something they have to take credit for.
And we did it for every level, by the way.
What?
We did it for every level.
Yeah, almost, yeah. That's so having a new engine allows us to do this, to really push the tech as far as possible. As Seb was saying, there were days where we were like, we will never manage to do this. And then the other day was like, I found a solution, things like that. And it's very difficult because you always, you don't really know how it's going to end up. And maybe you will have to cut the level because it's not possible to do it. But at the end of the day, everybody worked like their asses off, like for ages, and we managed to do something really cool. So.
And you have to trust each other. So if you have a good tech guy, even if he says it will fall in your build one day, you have to trust him, and it's super hard because your stress, your design or could break or could fall, and you'll have to find another solution. And when you have the feeling of something really cool and you communicate it to the other member of the team, then they realize it's important because they trust you, and it's all based on this, mindset and philosophy.
Yeah, it's frightening, to be honest, because when you realize that maybe the level you've been working on for years, maybe it's going to be cut because it's just not possible. It's very frightening. So, but it's at the same time, I would say that having a new engine allows us so many possibilities. As like I said before, having working on one level for one tech for one level is awesome, and I think we don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't regret anything. Maybe the tech team is regretting something. I don't know.
So back to the render part of the game, and it applies. So here I will show you the difference between the CG trailer we released at the first E3 2 years ago and what we did in game. And what happened is that people are getting confused whether they are looking at the CG trailer here. So you see it's a video, it's a screenshot I did recently, and this is in game. And when you go on forums, because we follow the players, what they expect, what they feel when they see these videos, some are saying it's better than the trailer released 2 years ago, but now it's in game, so we cannot talk that much about that while we are doing the promotion of the game. But we were like, wow, they are getting confused if it's live or if it's a CG trailer, and we were
Which
like,
is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a very good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and it applies not only to the rendering part. I mean, the visual. It's also the AI, the animation, the VFX, the dev, the architect work. It's here. It's the result of every member of Arkane. Do you have something to say?
No. I mean, if you take in the trailer, you see the Clockwork Mansion, which is this crazy thing, and I had a picture in my mind of what it should be, but when I saw the trailer, it was even better, and it was scary because we were like, are we going to be able to do this? I mean, if we're not, it's wrong. We should be able to do this kind of transformation everywhere, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's not exactly what it is in the trailer, but at the end of the day, you have the same feeling of an entire transformation of rooms. And in a way, I think the trailer helped us to build the Clockwork Mansion. I don't know for you, but to me, it was like, because we agreed that it should be a transformation, but technically it was difficult, and for the visual, for the lighting and everything, it was difficult. And we kind of agree that we would do transformation, but not at the scale that we see in the trailer. And then I think that seeing the trailer gave us,
the motivation.
Yeah, the motivation to go even further.
Yeah, myself, I was hoping that we'll cut this level.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, no way. And I was working on the trailer, so going to LA to explain what is the, visually speaking, Dishonored with the Blur team. I was like, no way. If we do it in the trailer, that means we'll have to do it in the game, I'm sure. And yes, so that was the...
I was like, yes!
Yeah. So we spent like 4 years on this level. But the results, I mean, well... It's hard because when you do when you are 2 years into the production, you see an amount of stress, everywhere, of levels, of ideas that maybe eventually you'll cut or not. So that's why you're like, this one is the good candidate to be cut. It's too hard. The lighting won't work. The engine is still in production. We don't have the final engine, and you're like, oh, wow. But well, when you work hard and
yeah, I have to say that Dan Todd and Davide Giacomo did a wonderful job on the all the mechanism and how it moves, and it's not just going into the wall. You have an entire space, and if you look at the mechanism from behind the scene, it works. It's like a real. It could exist in the real world. The weight of the thing is not stupid, like there's no it's coherent. You can look at it and say, I could build that. If I had money, I could do a house like this. And this is what I think. This is why at the end of the day people are accepting this level and feeling that why not? Instead of going like, it's crazy. It will never happen. This feels right.